The plane door hissed open, releasing a rush of cool, recycled air that quickly gave way to something much heavier and more real. I stepped into a wall of humid air that clung to my skin, thick and fragrant, instantly reminding me I was far from home. The terminal buzzed with a sea of sounds I couldn't understand, voices rising and falling in unfamiliar rhythms, laughter and shouts echoing off the high ceilings. This was it. I had arrived, not just in a new country but in a new reality, where every detail felt heightened and strange. The airport signs were a puzzle of characters I'd only seen in books, twisting and looping in ways my mind struggled to decode. Voices swirled around me, urgent and melodic, each conversation a private melody. None of it meant for me, yet all of it drawing me in. I felt a sharp pang of isolation, thrilling and terrifying at the same time, as if I'd been dropped into the middle of a story I didn't know how to read. I was a silent observer in a world moving at a pace I couldn't match, watching people glide past with purpose while I hesitated, unsure of my next step. My first challenge: find the exit. It sounded simple, but in this maze of glass and steel it felt monumental. Every sign, every announcement, every helpful face was a mystery, their words tumbling over each other in a language I couldn't grasp. I clutched my backpack, feeling like a child lost in a supermarket, searching for something familiar in a world that suddenly felt enormous. For a moment, I wanted to turn back, to retreat to the safety of the known, to the comfort of my own language and customs, but this was the point, this discomfort, this uncertainty. I had come here to be challenged, to learn, to see the world unfiltered and raw. I started following the universal language of pictures, a suitcase, a bus, a little stick figure walking through a door, clues left for travelers like me. These icons became my guide through the chaos, a silent conversation between me and the city, bridging the gap between our worlds. I followed a purposeful crowd, hoping they were heading for the exit, trusting in the collective wisdom of strangers. Every step was a small victory, a quiet affirmation that I could do this, that I belonged here, even if only as a guest. The air smelled different, a mix of spices, exhaust, and something sweet I couldn't quite name, a scent that promised adventure and surprise. Finally I saw it, the symbol of a person walking through a door, freedom, or at least the next step into the unknown. I pushed through the glass doors and stepped into the city, the sounds and colors of a new world washing over me in a rush. The world outside was even more vibrant, confusing, and alive than I'd imagined. Streets pulsing with energy, people weaving through traffic, the city's heartbeat impossible to ignore. I stood on the curb, cars and scooters zipping past, a symphony of horns and engines and voices, all blending into a wild, beautiful music. I had no idea where to go next, no plan beyond this moment, but I was here. The adventure had truly begun and I was ready to let the unknown lead the way. Hunger is universal, but menus are not. My first meal was a masterclass in awkwardness. I entered a small eatery, drawn by the aroma of grilled meats and broths. The menu was a scroll of calligraphy, no pictures, no familiar words. The owner greeted me warmly. I replied with a nervous smile. Embarrassed, I tried to say food in my language. No luck. Desperate, I pointed to a family's steaming bowl of noodles and then to myself. Laughter erupted, warm, not mocking. The owner nodded and soon a huge bowl appeared before me. It was delicious. Rich broth, perfect noodles, crisp vegetables. I felt grateful for kindness and laughter instead of frustration. I learned when words fail, a pointing finger and a hopeful smile go a long way. Sometimes the best meals are the ones you order by chance, and humility is the best appetizer. Getting lost is part of travel. It's almost a rite of passage for anyone exploring a new city. The unfamiliar streets, the foreign sounds, and the sense of adventure all blend together, making every wrong turn a story waiting to happen. But getting lost without knowing the language? That's a whole new adventure, one that tests your patience, creativity, and sense of humor. Suddenly, every street sign looks like a puzzle, and every local becomes a potential guide, even if you can't share a single word. Armed with nothing but a crumpled paper map and a hopeful spirit, I set out to find a famous temple I'd read about. The city buzzed around me and I felt both excited and a little nervous. The map's squiggly lines became a maze of alleys and markets, each turn more confusing than the last. The city's energy was infectious, but the streets seemed to twist and double back on themselves. After an hour of wandering, I was hopelessly lost. My feet ached, and my confidence started to fade. I wondered if I'd ever find the temple, or if I'd just keep circling the same block forever. Desperate, I approached a street vendor, pointed at the temple on my map, and hoped for help. My words were useless, but my gestures spoke volumes. He gestured wildly, left, right circles, and even mimed walking. His enthusiasm was contagious, and I couldn't help but laugh at the elaborate directions. I nodded along, pretending to understand every word, even though I was more confused than before. Sometimes a smile is the only common language you need. I wandered off, following my best guess, and soon found myself in a quiet courtyard, far from the crowds and noise. It was peaceful, but I had no idea where I was. Just then, an elderly man noticed my confusion. Without a word, he walked over, smiled kindly, and pointed down a hidden alley, holding up 2 fingers to show me the way. 2 blocks later, the temple's golden roof appeared at the end of the street, shining in the afternoon sun. Relief and gratitude washed over me. I turned to thank the man, but he had already disappeared into the crowd, leaving only his helpful gesture behind. Sometimes the simplest gestures are the clearest directions. A smile, a wave, or a pointed finger can mean more than 1,000 words. Help can come from the most unexpected places, and often, it's the kindness of strangers that makes a journey unforgettable. Getting lost didn't just lead me to the temple, it led me to moments of connection, laughter, and discovery I never could have planned. Sometimes that's the best part of the journey, finding your way, not just to a place, but to the heart of a city and its people. My smartphone became my lifeline, translator, navigator, and bridge to the familiar. Translation apps weren't perfect. Sometimes they produced hilarious nonsense. At a pharmacy, I typed, "I have a headache." The pharmacist read it, typed back, and handed me my phone. The app translated, "The sky cow is angry at your brain." We stared at each other, baffled. I resorted to mime, clutching my head and groaning. Suddenly he understood, laughed, and handed me the right medicine. Technology is helpful, but human creativity and humor are better. The app failed, but laughter connected us. My phone was my sidekick, but people were the real heroes. Sometimes a shared joke is the best translation, and a little patience goes a long way. What truly defined my journey was the unexpected kindness of strangers. In a place where I couldn't speak, I found a universal language of compassion. At a bus stop, a young woman pointed to my map, showed me the fare on her phone, and made sure I got on the right bus. Caught in a downpour, a shopkeeper handed me a towel and a cup of tea, asking nothing in return. We sat in silence, sharing a moment that needed no words. These small acts were the heart of my trip. They weren't grand adventures, but intimate reminders of human goodness. You don't need a shared vocabulary to share understanding. A smile, a gesture, a cup of tea, these speak louder than words. If you open yourself to the world opens to you. Kindness became the language I understood best. There's a unique beauty in being out of your comfort zone. Without understanding every word, you notice more. The color of a door, the sound of laughter, the taste of something new. I learned to let go of control and embrace confusion. Wandering aimlessly, I discovered hidden markets, peaceful parks, and spontaneous street performances. Not understanding the chatter around me brought unexpected peace. I could simply observe, present in the moment. The need to know faded, replaced by a sense of being. I was no longer a tourist, but a person existing in a new place. The best travel moments happen when plans fall apart. The beauty of travel is letting yourself be changed. Comfort in discomfort, order in chaos, connection in silence. The world is more interesting when you don't have all the answers. The greatest reward of travel is genuine human connection. My most cherished memory began with a photo of an ancient tree and a friendly older man. He invited me for tea using only gestures. I hesitated, then followed him to his home where his wife welcomed me. We shared tea, cookies, and family photos. No shared language, just laughter and smiles. When I left, they walked me to the door, patting my back like an old friend. I left with a full heart, overwhelmed by their trust and generosity. This was worth more than any monument. The real treasures of travel are the connections you feel. Sometimes the best stories are the ones you can't tell in words, and the best souvenirs are memories of kindness. This journey was more than a trip. It was a journey into myself. Without language, I had to be resourceful, creative, and brave. Every small success rebuilt my confidence. The silence forced me to listen to my own voice. Vulnerability became my strength, opening me to kindness and gratitude. I learned that communication is more than words, it's energy, expression, and action. A smile or open posture is understood everywhere. I connected with people on a deeper level, relying on universal signals. I learned to trust strangers, the process, and myself. The world is less scary than it seems. It's filled with people willing to bridge the gap with kindness. This journey changed how I see the world, and myself. If my story taught you anything, let it be this. No matter where you go, the world is friendlier than you think. People everywhere are more welcoming, more generous, and more willing to help than we often imagine. Sometimes, all it takes is a smile or a simple greeting to open doors you never expected. We're told to fear the unknown, to stay where it's safe and familiar, but the truth is, the best memories, the ones that shape us, are waiting just outside your comfort zone. Every adventure begins with a moment of hesitation, but it's in those moments that you discover what you're truly capable of. Traveling where you don't speak the language is daunting, but it's also magical. It's a chance to see the world through new eyes, to learn how much can be communicated with gestures, laughter, and patience. You'll feel awkward, get lost, and be amazed. Those moments of confusion often lead to the most unexpected adventures and the best stories to tell. Take the leap. Pick a place that intimidates you, a destination that excites and scares you at the same time. The unknown is where growth happens. You don't need to be fearless, just open. Curiosity and a willingness to learn will take you further than confidence ever could. Pack your sense of humor and humility, they're your best tools. Mistakes will happen, but they're often the highlight of the journey. A smile is the ultimate passport. Kindness is a universal currency. No matter where you are, these simple gestures break barriers and build connections. You'll collect beautiful moments, a stranger's help when you're lost, a meal ordered by pointing and laughing, a shared joke with someone you just met. These are the memories that last. These moments will stay with you long after your trip ends. They become stories you'll tell for years, reminders of your courage and curiosity. They remind us of our shared humanity, of how much we have in common despite our differences. So go, explore, get lost, be vulnerable. Let yourself be surprised by the world and by your own resilience. Let the world show you its kindness, and you'll find it in the most unexpected places. The journey will challenge and change you, leaving you with new perspectives and lifelong friends. The world is waiting to meet you, to share its wonders and its warmth. Your adventure starts with a single step. So go ahead, take it, the world is ready for you.